Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Scott's Selections here for Thursday, October 3rd. Before we actually, get into the play of the day, which will be in another video, this is actually going to be a special edition of Scott's Selections, which I told all of you about yesterday in my leans video, as I decided to make a separate video talking about the MLB postseason and some potential future wagers that you could look into that should provide some value. So I'm going to briefly go through my thoughts on the MLB postseason, and I will also throw in some future bets that I personally like that I think should provide you some value. So without further ado, we're actually just going to look right into this. I decided to make the video today because the MLB postseason, after the Rays ended up winning the AL wildcard game, the playoffs actually start in about 3 hours. So I thought I might as well get the video out and try to explain what I like in some respective series, just to explain where I think the value is and why I think some of you should be considering betting it. Now, in terms of the 4 series, 3 of them are favored by at least minus 230. Specifically, the Yankees are minus 235. All the lines I'm going to be using on this video will be on FanDuel, by the way. The Yankees are minus 235. The Dodgers are minus 235. The Astros are minus 270. And then the one series that you have left over is between the Braves and the Cardinals. And the Braves are only minus 136, and the Cardinals are plus 116. The line looks a little bit weird for me. I know the Braves pretty much coasted to a division title. The Cardinals had to stress it out until the last game of the regular season. However, based on the lines alone, I'm going to lean to the Cardinals there in terms of the series price at plus 116 against the Braves. I know the Braves overall have a very solid team, but a part of me still believes in the philosophy of actually waiting to see a team do something before they actually do it. The Braves have had decent talent in the past, including last year. They haven't won a playoff series in I don't even know how long. It's been a while. Cardinals, on the other hand, always seem to pull out some magic in October. I think the Cardinals, in terms of their rotation, is better than the Braves. I know Mikolas in Game 1 is a little bit concerning, but Keuchel's pitching in Game 1, and he has also been a little bit underwhelming in his last couple of starts. But you also throw it over to Flaherty, who is probably the best pitcher in baseball for the last 2 months. He's in the rotation. You still have Wainwright. I know Wainwright struggled a bit this season, but he still has a lot of playoff experience. The Cardinals just have more playoff experience, and I think that will definitely play a factor. In terms of bullpens, St. Louis had the best bullpen in the entire National League. Atlanta's bullpen was great for the last month or so, but best bullpen in the league and the experience, I'll have to lean to the Cardinals there. I think this series will be a war. I think it should go at least 4 or 5 games. But at the end of the day, I think the Cardinals should be able to sneak away with a win here. And until the Braves actually win a playoff series, I'm going to go against them. Do I like the team? Of course. Do I kind of hope the Braves would win? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's always a safe bet to take experience. That's why I leaned to the Rays yesterday on the money line, because Manaea never pitched in a postseason game, and Morton did, and that ended up working out as Manaea fell apart. Similar logic here. Braves made it last year. They didn't really do anything in the first round. Cardinals, they did not make the playoffs last year, but they have a lot of people on the roster who have experience, including some World Series champions who are still there. So I definitely think that will play a factor, and I will lean to the Cardinals winning that series at plus 116. I think the series should be roughly in the realm of I think the Cardinals should be plus 100, plus 105, but at plus 116, I think that's a little bit too much value, so I'll lean to that one. In terms of the other series, though, you have the Yankees and Twins. I think the Yankees will win. Same logic there. Twins haven't won a playoff series, and I don't even know how long, and the Yankees have beaten them in multiple playoff series in the past. In terms of the actual pitching matchup, both teams have pretty average rotations. The Yankees officially announced Paxton will pitch Game 1, Tanaka will pitch Game 2, Severino will pitch Game 3, and you will not be able to fade CC Sabathia, as he has officially not been put on the ALDS roster, so you don't have to worry about him if you are going to bet on the Yankees, and something about that. Well, Jamal, in terms of the Cardinals pitching with the Braves, what I simply meant is that the Braves starting pitchers in the postseason, they don't really have much experience to me, and they haven't had much success. Keuchel is an exception to the rule. He's pitching in Game 1. I'm saying that I think both starting rotations are pretty much hit or miss for the Cardinals and the Braves, but at the same point, I think the Cardinals have the better bullpen, and they have the more experienced bats. So for that reason, I will lean to the Cardinals. I'm saying I don't think Atlanta's bullpen. I don't think Atlanta's starting pitching is amazing by any means. I think that's pretty much a wash, and I think that the Cardinals have the advantage because they will have the best pitcher in the entire series, in my opinion, with Flaherty. That's what I meant. They have more experience. They have a couple of World Series winners. I think that will play a factor. I wasn't saying that their starting pitching was officially better than the Braves. I was simply saying that I think as a whole, I think the Cardinals' units are better than the Braves, and I think that that should be enough to help them win the series. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying I think the line is just a little bit too high on the Cardinals in terms of the plus value, so I will lean to that. But in terms of the Yankees and Twins, I still will lean to the Yankees. If you can bet on a home run prop, I would take the over, as these two teams set the record for most home runs in a single season. The Twins ended up winning the race by 1 home run, but these teams, they don't really get many people on base, but they do hit a lot of home runs. And I think that the starting pitchers should struggle. Paxton will be making his postseason debut as well. In terms of the Twins, the rotation hasn't really been the same since Pineda got suspended for about 60 games due to PEDs. Not really a big fan. Minnesota's bullpen has been okay, not great. Yankees' bullpen has been very solid over the last month or so. I'll lean to the Yankees at minus 235. I think that's a little bit too juicy, but I can understand why, and I would lean to the Yankees on that one. In terms of the Dodgers and the Nationals, I actually think the series will be really close. In terms of the series, I think the Dodgers will sneak away with a win just because the Nationals' bullpen is absolutely terrible. However, the Nationals' rotation is just that good. I know that the Dodgers still have Buehler, and they still have Kershaw, and even Rich Hill's now back from the IL. But Corbin, Strasburg, and Scherzer, that's as good as it gets on that one. And plus, they also got to build up a bit of momentum after winning the NL wildcard game in such a thrilling fashion. The Nationals lineup, you still have Soto, you still have Rendon, you still have Turner. They have a lot of weapons there. The issue is the bullpen. And if they had a decent bullpen, the Nationals probably would have competed for the best record in the league. They don't have it. I think that will be the team's undoing. In terms of the series itself, I would not be surprised to see the Nationals leading after 5 innings in a couple of these games and then potentially blowing some leads. But in terms of the series, I think this will go 5 games. I think this will be a very close series. I think that Kershaw will continue to struggle in the playoffs. Buehler has had mixed results so far in his playoff career. He was great against the Red Sox in the World Series, as he ended up giving up no earned runs in that one. But he also struggled against the Braves in the first round. He was okay in the NLCS as well. Same thing with Scherzer, though. Scherzer and Kershaw both been underwhelming so far in the postseason. Strasburg looked fantastic in the wildcard game. He is expected to pitch game 2. I don't know how long he will be able to pitch, but he should pitch well. And Corbin, also very solid, no playoff experience, but he does bring some solid stuff to the table. So I think that series should be close. So that is my thoughts. In terms of the other series, for me, I'll lean to the Dodgers in 5. In terms of that series itself, if you want to look at FanDuel, the total games in that series going to 5 is plus 155. If you want to actually take the series spread, the Nationals plus 1.5 is minus 160. But I like the Dodgers winning the series at 3-2 at plus 230 on FanDuel, which I think does possess a lot of value on that. So I will give out that lean in that one. Other than that, looking at the other series to talk about here, you have the Astros and the Rays. Props to the Rays for managing to win the wildcard game on the road. However, I think we all know that Houston is an absolute just juggernaut. I think they're probably going to win the whole thing. I think everyone who has watched baseball thinks the Astros are going to win a thing based on their rotation with Verlander, Greinke, and Cole. And I think the Rays, who are going to be using Glass now in the first game of the series, Blake Snell has had limited reps since coming back off the IL. I know that the Rays bullpen's great. I know that they do a lot of creative things with the shifts, and they can, try to make the most of what they have. At the end of the day, the Astros have too much talent. I think the Astros could sweep. I think they could win 4. But at the end of the day, I would have to lean to the Astros minus 1.5 games in that series. FanDuel does not have that lineup, but I would lean to that, as I think Houston should win the series in 3 or 4 games. I don't see it going to 5, and I think that Houston should be able to get some extra time of rest, and I think that should definitely play a factor moving forward, but lean to Houston on that one. Now to go through the made-up line section where I will cover the second rounds. So my winners in the first round, as I said before, will be the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Cardinals, and the Astros. In the ALCS, I will take the Astros over the Yankees. I am a Yankees fan, but I also am aware of the reality of the fact that the Yankees starting rotation, I should say, is very underwhelming. And Houston, historically, with Verlander on the mound, has just absolutely dominated the Yankees in the playoffs, and I don't think the Yankees will solve him this year. Plus, Cole's been great so far this season. He has not had much playoff experience. He was the pitcher for the Pirates in an NL wildcard game a couple years ago. But overall, he has still been great this season. Greinke has had a lot of playoff experience with the Dodgers and even the Brewers and also the Diamondbacks. So I think that he should pitch well. Plus, Wade Miley is a very underrated number 4 guy. And the Astros, Correa's back. I think that lineup's stacked with Springer, Correa, Altuve, even Alvarez, Bregman. This team is just unbelievable. I'll take the Astros on that one. I think they should win that in 6 games or less. So I would take the Astros minus 1.5 games in that series. And with the Cardinals and the Dodgers, I am going to take the Dodgers in that one, as I think that the Cardinals, even though they have had a great run based on just quality pitching, at the end of the day, Dodgers have too many weapons. The Cardinals lineup is pretty good. Is it amazing? No. I mean, you're going to have to rely on Matt Carpenter to wake up with his bat. Goldschmidt has been very solid down the stretch. Osuna's been very solid. And Molina's also been pretty good. But at the end of the day, I mean, at the end of the day, Matt Carpenter is not even playing in this game, as Keuchel will be on the mound because Carpenter simply just can't hit lefties. I think that will be an issue at some point in the future. And I simply just don't think the Cardinals have enough weapons to overcome the Dodgers. So I would lean to the Dodgers in that one. So I got a pretty boring final in that one, as I will lean to the Dodgers versus the Astros in the World Series. And just like the previous couple of years, I think the Dodgers will lose once again in the World Series, and I will end up taking the Houston Astros to win the whole thing. And that is available on FanDuel. If some of you don't know of the mattress guy from Houston, he has already bet about $10 million on the Astros to win. He had a couple of 2.5 million bets at various casinos. He spread it around. But the Astros to win the World Series on FanDuel is available at plus 210, and I will be taking that personally, as I think the Astros should end up winning the whole thing. If you want the Dodgers to win the National League and to make it to the World Series, they are available at minus 120, and the Astros are available to win the American League at minus 110. So I would double down on the Astros on that. So in terms of my personal wagers that I will have on the playoffs, I will have the Cardinals winning the series as an underdog against the Braves. I will have the Astros winning the American League at minus 110. And I will also have the Astros to win the World Series at plus 210. And I might also throw a sprinkle on the Dodgers Nationals, 3-2 Dodgers at plus 230. But that'll be a slight sprinkle, and there's more of a lean. And those are just my thoughts. But in terms of the baseball breakdown, I hope all of you enjoyed. And I will be back later with a play of the day. So stay tuned for that. And until then, good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.